Hey there, quirky folks! I'm your host, Anna, and today we'll be looking at the strongest and bravest characters in the Avatar universe. In James Cameron's two long movies, we've been introduced to several amazing characters. In a war between the humans and the Na'vi, we've come across many brave people from both species. Among the humans, we've seen Trudy and Spider being among the bravest of all. Sadly, Trudy didn't survive the first film, or she would have been a nice addition to Avatar 2 and 3. But Spider will go on to play a huge role in the future films. However, this video is about the strongest Na'vi characters in particular. And Avatar: The Way of Water added a bunch of those to the list. Norm Spellman is a human Na'vi hybrid who proved to be quite brave. Even though he was your typical nerd guy from every film, here he adapted well as a Na'vi, and even fought in the battle against humans. But he won't make it to the top 10 because he isn't a complete Na'vi being. He can still switch back to his human body. But before we look at the 10 bravest Na'vi characters, I'd love it if you guys would hit those like and subscribe buttons. Now with that out of the way, we'll start with number 10, Aqua and Akini. Because these two haven't been on screen for more than a few seconds, I've slotted both of them at number 10. There is no certain way to predict who is better, as they haven't gotten any character development. But being warriors and leaders, you've got to believe that they're amongst the strongest Na'vi beings. Aqua is the leader of the Olanji clan, and Akini is the one who led the Tyranji clan into battle. They would certainly get a bit higher on the list if they got more screen time. And that would happen in the future as both of them survived the first battle against humans. But for now, let's move on to number 9, Lowak. Jake and Natiri's younger son just made his debut in The Way of Water. Played by Britton Dalton, he proved to have a lot of potential as a future leader of this franchise. He always showed signs of greatness, but it took a lot of time for Jake to realize it. After joining the Metkayina clan, he learned their ways and formed a close bond with the Tulkun Payakan, along with Tonawari's daughter Tisria. Then his true bravery was seen when he actually went on to save his father. That proves how he could become a future leader in the fight against humans. By the time we reach Avatar 4: The Tulkun Rider, I'm sure that he'd rise much higher on this list. But for now, his brother supersedes him at number 8, and his name is Natiri. Jake's oldest son proved to be one of the bravest characters we've seen in this entire franchise. Before I talk any further about him, I'd like to give you a spoiler warning just in case you haven't seen The Way of Water yet. I will talk about his fate, so you could skip this point or jump on to the next character at this timestamp. Natiri was any father's ideal and responsible son. Jake even taught him how to use human guns. And in Jake's absence, Natiri was always there to protect his brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, that is how he ultimately perished as well. He saved both Lowak and Spider, but got shot while escaping. He would have become a great leader in the future, but his bravery in The Way of Water has already turned him into a legend. Next at number 7, we've got Sutay. He was Omaticaya clan's finest warrior and became the clan leader for 3 days after the death of Uticon. He wasn't kind towards Jake at the beginning. Part of the reason for that was his jealousy, as he was supposed to wed Natiri. But she fell in love with Jake. But then, upon seeing him as the Turek Makto, both Sutay and Jake led the Omaticaya clan into a glorious battle against Quaritch's forces. Unfortunately for him, he died in the war, but his contributions were good enough to land him a spot on this list. Now moving on, we've got Na'vi number 6, Ronal. Kate Winslet's Ronal is the Shahik of the Metkayina clan. Seriously, you don't want to mess with this woman. She is a no-nonsense leader who always puts her community's safety above everything else. While she is fierce on the outside, we saw her kind-heartedness when she volunteered to help Kiri after her seizure. And then we saw her wrath when her spirit sister was killed by the human Tulkun hunters. Even though she was pregnant, she rode a skimwig into battle and turned out to be pretty lethal. Because there were so many characters in the film, Ronal did not play a huge role in The Way of Water. But looking at Kate Winslet's long filming schedule, we can't imagine that she will play a much bigger role in Avatar 3. Next at number 5, we've got Tonawari. Cliff Curtis played the leader of the Metkayina clan, and he's clearly someone who shouldn't be trifled with. Like his wife, we only saw a glimpse of his true potential in battle, but you could tell what a fierce warrior he is by just looking at his size and aura. The most remarkable aspect of Tonawari is his ability to remain calm, even in the most stressful situations. And he knows exactly how to use the power he possesses as an individual and as a leader. One could even argue that he is a better leader than Jake himself, but for now, he hasn't done enough to exceed his ranking. but I personally expect to see a great battle sequence involving him in Avatar 3. Moving on to number 4, we've got Colonel Miles Quaritch. Stephen Lang gave a remarkable performance as the badass Colonel Quaritch in Part 1, and that's part of the reason why James Cameron brought him back as a recombinant. The RDA deployed a failsafe just in case Quaritch was not able to finish the job on Pandora. While they were growing avatar bodies for Quaritch and his men on Earth, they recorded the memories of those Marines to be implanted into those bodies. This way, the RDA created avatar clones of Quaritch and his soldiers, which were called recombinants. Now with the training and battle experience that Quaritch already had, he became a great asset for the RDA. This guy is just unkillable. Sure, Natiri took his human clone down in Part 1, and he almost lost to Jake in the Way of Water, but he had done a lot of damage by then. And guess what? He even managed to survive the second film thanks to his son Spider. Now it will be interesting to see if he continues his villainous arc or actually goes on to become the anti-hero in the future. Anyway, he is number 4 because despite his strength and skills, he lost against number 3, that is, Natiri. She was 18 years old when she met Jake in the forest, and then she taught him the ways of the Na'vi. Over time, she married Jake and led the Umatakaya clan along with him. Her skills as an archer are unparalleled as she took down Quaritch in the first Avatar. And she also killed a bunch of other RDA soldiers in both Avatar 1 and 2. But this time around, we saw another example of her fierceness as she managed to bend Quaritch to her will. While Recom Quaritch threatened to kill Kiri, Natiri threatened to kill his son Spider. And guess what? She actually managed to win this contest as Quaritch gave up. So that means Natiri 2, Quaritch 0. Next at number 2 we've got Jake Sully. We all know how courageous Jake has always been. His disability as a human actually allowed him to become the best as a Na'vi because he knew the value of his newfound strength. Then, his courage allowed him to become a Na'vi hunter. He bonded with the Banshee and Inikrin, and then became the 6th Toruk Maktu. Then he united many Na'vi clans to fight against the humans. And after winning that battle, he led the Umatakaya clan safely for several years. But to keep his people safe, he left his leadership role and took refuge among the Metkaina. Now having mastered the ways of the Metkaina clan as well, he has certainly become one of the 2 strongest Na'vi beings. But he is at number 2 because at number 1 we've got Kiri. You must have wondered why we never mentioned Dr. Kiri Augustine on this list. Well, she was brave, but she was a human Na'vi hybrid. She never turned into a complete Na'vi being like Jake or Quaritch did. But after her demise, we did see her daughter be born as a miracle baby. Jake adopted Kiri as one of his own. Over the course of the film, her special connection with Awa and the rest of Pandora was established.
I know you think I'm crazy, but I feel her.
James Cameron built a mystery around her father, but our theory is that she is an avatar of Awa herself. Grace's avatar body did not conceive Kiri until the ceremony of her transference. Once the Na'vi prayed for her survival, their prayers didn't go in vain. Awa did allow Grace to survive in the form of reincarnation. Only this new baby was half Grace and half Awa. That's how Awa has been able to take a Na'vi form. And that's also why Kiri has these special abilities to control the fauna on Pandora by sharing a natural bond with them. Now I believe that she will go on to be a messiah for humans as well. Once she realizes the truth about her lineage and the powers she possesses, she'd save not just the Na'vi, but the humans too. Avatar 5's current title is The Quest for Awa. So, that could be where some of the Na'vi people leave Pandora and arrive on Earth to end the war with humans once and for all. She'd be the messiah who shows the humans a way to peace. And she could be the one to save planet Earth by giving control back to Mother Nature. That's why she's the strongest Na'vi being. Okay, this is where I'd like to end the list. Once again, I'm leaving a reminder to click on those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed the video. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.